Victoria Island from the Bonny camp into the Marina side of Lagos Island. And it's been the oldest even in this entire corridor. But what has happened is this approach end from Victoria Island going into Marina has been under severe threat. So what Buildwell had done over the past couple of years first was to stabilize, beneath, which we can't see. They've done a whole lot of sheet piling underneath the bridge to protect and to hold the integrity, this wall. But the real job is that there's like a 15 to 20 meters, span on the bridge, which is sitting on nothing. Over the years, erosion has gone underneath and it's sitting on nothing. So that is indeed an engineering disaster that is just waiting to happen. One day, God forbid, if the part of the bridge just collapses, it will take you right into the water. So they've been on this conversation on what is the best time for us to move in and solve this problem once and for all. So that's it. But as a government, we must be able to take responsibility. And the responsibility is that maybe we did not communicate long enough. We did not communicate adequately enough to tell our citizens that from Monday, Tuesday, 2 days ago, that this bridge was going to be open. One side of it, actually, is not the entire bridge, is the one from Victoria Island to Marina that was going to be closed for 5 to 6 weeks. And so that is a responsibility that I'm leading to take charge. Now. So what we are now, explaining to our citizens, this thing, given what they've done in the past 2 days, in my view, and from engineering conversation, makes it difficult to reverse it. They've actually excavated, the subsoil and everything, and we're beginning to see water underneath. So one of the things that we're going to see very quickly is that they're going to advance the work very quickly. They'll probably be working into the night, and to see how they can reduce the timeline from the 6-7 weeks that they are planned to about 4 to 5 weeks. It's engineering. They are going to need to do, what they call piling. They have to do, it's like a decompile, but it's a short span. It's like a decompile that has to sit also on the concrete. If they don't do it and let it cure well, it will also be an engineering failure. So in terms of length of time, in terms of the strength of the material they need to do, it has to also work and wait for all of that to happen. But the commitment which the management of Buildwell is telling us is that they will even work longer hours, they work quicker, and they have everything, to make it happen. But you cannot go into concrete mixing if you don't excavate. You cannot mix, you cannot do design if you don't have proper, measurement and the rest of it. So, so what I've also seen here is that they are committed to ensuring that they can bring that solution once and for all, into taking us out of a future or a possible disaster. But taking this forward, what are the solutions or what are the remedies that we can begin to put up? So it's really just around patience, and we observing the road furnitures and observing, the traffic officers and the security operatives that are going to be doubling, and in all of the nooks and crannies of Lagos. So part of the things that you see us that we're going to clean up the entire, Obalende axis. People can now have alternatives going towards Obalende, going towards Kefi, going towards off Awolowo Road to St. Finbar's Road, and ensuring that all of those other axes are free. There are no parking, there are no double parking on the road. Danfos and Kekemaro and all of that usually take, one way are completely off it. Even right from the AIG Zone 2, office around Onikon here, all of these places have to be cleared and free of traffic movement. If we can do all of that, it will not solve all the problem, but at least it will give alternatives, better and quicker alternatives for movement of traffic in and around Victoria Island and Ikoyi, which is the part, that we're needed to deal with here. Like I said, it was a case of we all rushing out yesterday after a very long holiday, after a very long weekend for 4 or 5 days. People needed to get to work immediately. People needed to get back to school, and businesses needed to start, and this part of the city is like what we call the CBD, which is the business district. And so because of the inadequate communication and I will take responsibility, ineffective communication that because they had started even before then, so you just assume that people are aware. No, you have to continue. Communication is enforcement. You have to continue before, people now make alternative plans to be able to use other routes and other, corridors, out of it. And so one of the things that I'll also be advising a lot of our citizens is that this kind of thing has also happened, in another form. Let's think out of the box. Let us now know that if you don't have a business to do in Victoria Island in the next 2 to 3 weeks, conduct your business via social media, via telephone, via meetings, Zoom meetings and online meetings, and plan ahead, so that if you don't need to come and visit somebody here, please, you don't have to come, right? If you don't have a meeting that you must, ensure that it needs your physical presence, think out of the box. It was something similar that we have had during COVID, where you can have restricted movement in some part of the area for just, a couple of weeks, and be able to plan your journey time and be able to, see what are the alternatives, you can bring about, ensure that you can communicate, you can do, work from home, work remotely, just to ease, the traffic and just to ease all of us coming out. If you don't need to come out at 7 o'clock, wait till 10 o'clock. Let the people that need to come out at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, let them come out. You defer your time 2-3 hours, so they can see that even the approach from Marina to Victoria Island is free. There's no, on the counter on this bridge, there's no movement at all. We're also thinking of another alternative. Can we do a counter flow from here? We're looking at that, but it also needs a lot of excavation. We are going to break, a lot of things, and we don't know if that also will be fully effective, but we will consider that in the next 1 or 2 days and see the effect of a counter flow, using all of the traffic information that we currently have. So one of the things that I want to assure is that you are going to see a lot of last mile officers, on the road. You are going to see a double number of last mile officers on the road. We're calling them from other parts of the city so that they can make presence here. And like what we did in November, December, they worked very late, at night. Yesterday, I think it was because it was heavy rain around 11, 12 o'clock. That's why they were off the road. But we'll ensure that, since some of the rains are back also, that they can walk till very late into the early hours of the morning, and ensure that, people get home, go home safely, and to also appeal to our citizens that it's not the time for you now to start driving recklessly, to start driving against, traffic direction in one way. And these are some of the literally 2 things that patients, could help us solve, and so whilst we take the responsibility that, fine, this has happened, we needed to do this, our citizens also have a responsibility to ensure that they plan and they obey, traffic management, and all of the signs and signals that we have. So I will stop here and let you ask 1 or 2 other questions just for clarity and clarification. Well, it's the same message which you've heard. I taken time to explain what led to it. It's not a message. It's a solution that we're about. Yesterday is past. It's really how do we ensure that it doesn't happen today, next tomorrow, and next one. And that's why I'm out here in the morning, to come and see things for myself and to explain, take responsibility, apologize, but let us now be able to move forward. This was intended to solve a disaster that will happen at some point. Like I said, they've had this contract for over 3 years. We've been managing the bridge underneath the water. They've had it for a long time. But like I said, there is never a best time to solve a difficult problem like this. Anytime you do it, it will be discomfort. But let's bite the bullet. Let's work together as a citizen, and we'll all come out, of this better. Yeah. Well, with all due respect to my brother, my friend, the Honorable Minister, we are the ones on ground right here, and you can see for yourself. It's not about name mentioning or blame game or anything. We are in the same government, and we know that the intendment are good intentions. Like I keep saying, it is because there is a disaster for over 3 years. If you have a contract for over 3 years and you've not been able to fully implement the thing, if anything happens, you will be one of the people that will say that, why did you not take this difficult decision? Everybody wants a bridge. Nobody wants it in front of his house. That's always a, but if you take a decision that we need to build a bridge, we have to build a bridge, irrespective of if it's in front of your house. That's the solution. You come in here, you're seeing that they've started in the past 2-3 days. They've done a lot of excavation. In fact, we're looking at water right underneath. So even for them to attempt to want to bring that back, it will take 2 weeks. You know, so you cannot, a bridge is not a place where you just put sand and people will roll and just, no. What if it caves in again? What if cars now go right into the water? You know, so like I said, we are the ones on the ground. We will advise, with all due respect, we'll advise him, we'll tell him what we've found out. You know, as much as I, as the governor, want this bridge to be open last night, today, you know, the reality on ground is that we need to get to fix this road, do this problem, solve this problem once and for all. You know, because I do not want to be held accountable for a disaster that might still happen, you know, further down the line.